Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this video on process control in green sand molding. I'm Sandeep Kulkarni from Dynamic Foundry Group and Mahalakshmi Metals Kolhapur. Welcome you all to this small video. Let us start the presentation. No shortcuts in the process control. In Foundry, there is no space for shortcuts. It can lead to rejection, quality issues, and wastage. We start with supervisor's role before putting pattern on the machine. It is very important that supervisors plays an important role even before the pattern is put on the molding machine. The role, the time he spent on the match plate and planning is very important and essential to reduce rejection, quality issues and wastages. First of all, he has to check planning sheet, that is PPC sheet, for which pattern is going to be next planning. So it's very important. What he should understand from that is critical to process parameters. Which are the basic important process parameter needs to be controlled for that particular part is need to be understood by the supervisor, and he should know which are the focus area he has to focus on that particular part. For example, there may be a pneumatic ramming, there may be some sort of sleeve, there may be box height, there may be some chill use. So these kind of process parameters will be there which he need to understand and follow. He has to verify that pattern is ready, checked by pattern shop, and it is cleared for molding. That has to be ensured. Hit code, logo, and other information, that is identification, has to be verified. Downscrew or sleeve requirement has to be verified, along with core availability. Proper dressing of core has to be ensured. Sand hopper needs to be empty out because during the pattern change it will take some time, maybe 10-15 minutes, and during that time if the sand remains in the hopper it will get dried, and that dry sand will come for the molding for initial few boxes, and it will make molds dry, which can cause for rejection or quality issues. So he has to ensure that hopper is empty before before the last box has been taken for previous molding line. We go to supervisory role. Supervisory role important in respect to core inspection. He has to make sure that whatever cores he are coming and he is going to place in the mold are properly inspected, properly painted, properly dressed, with having enough proper storage is there, proper core handling is there. Then he has to verify a mold inspection. That is, first box inspection is important. There he has to see mold hardness, vertical as well as horizontal has to be checked. It should be above 85 always. Air pressure needs to be controlled and achieved. It should be minimum 6 to 6.5 bar. That has to be there. If it is less, then mold hardness will be less. The ramming will be not enough, and there will be mold swelling, which can cause dimensional issue, which can cause shrinkage, which can increase the weight of the casting, and many other issues will arise due to less air pressure and less mold hardness. So he has to ensure that. Pneumatic or hand ramming, if required, has to be ensured. Sand properties need to be verified whether those are in given range. For example, GCS, permeability, compactability, and moisture. Sand volume in the box has to be verified. We'll going to see some slide on that in the later stage of the presentation. Jolting and squeezing time need to be maintained. He has to adjust the jolting and squeezing time as per a given control plan for each match plate. Squeeze plate size and distance between squeeze plate and box has to be properly maintained. Do not use graphite powder, diesel. It is very dangerous because it will hamper your surface finish. We have a specific slide on this also in the later stage of presentation. You can use mold releasing agent instead of using diesel, which will help you to get not only mold release, but it will also help you to uh, avoid sand sticking and also not affect your surface finish of the casting. Venting as per guideline, here number of vent size need to be specified and verified, and he has to ensure that after venting, the loose sand remaining near vent has to be removed by uh, putting in air. So it is also important, otherwise that sand can fall in the molding box and cause you a sand defect. So not only venting number of vents, but vent size and removal of loose sand is very important. Placement of chill, denser and chaplet as required. So it is very important to see chills are properly painted. It is used after shot blasting and painting. Denseners and chaplets as specified has to be used. Sufficient pressure here, that is if sand height is more sand height is required or jacket is required, or box size need to be verified for maintaining sufficient pressure here for the good quality of casting. Post mold inspection, as I told you earlier, is very important. He has to verify uh, mold to mold or box to box contact. He has to verify the uh, after closing of the box, he has to verify the sand crush. He has to verify if there is any crack available or any mold damage is there. He has to verify during first mold inspection. So mold breakage and damage has to be verified. He has to also verify the pallet and pin bush. So whatever boxes he are using, it should have bushes available properly. There are many times it happens that one or two boxes doesn't have one or two bushes there, and still that box is running in the molding line and causing some issues uh, for casting shifting. तो जहां पर भी ये आपको दिखता है कि किसी बॉक्स में बुश नहीं है, तो यू हैव टू वेरीफाई कि ये बॉक्स में बुश नहीं है. यू हैव टू मार्क इट एंड कीप इट असाइड so that that box can be replaced with good box, or that bush can be replaced immediately. Similarly, you have to check the pins and closing pins and pouring pins as well. Pallets needs to be properly cleaned, because if there is a sand available or rough sand is available on the pallet, the box pallet will not be maintained, box will not be placed properly on the pallet, and it can give you mold crack defect. So pallet needs to be cleaned properly. Remove metal from the boxes to have mold to mold contact. There are chances that boxes should have some metal on the top surface of the box because of box leakage or during the pouring. So if such boxes are seen, immediately that metal has to removed and then use those boxes. Otherwise, there will not be a mold to mold contact, as there will be a gap between two boxes due to that metal. So this is very important. Core setting is an important thing. One has to see mold to mold contact, and any crush is there during core setting or during closing of the top and bottom half of the mold. Then inspection of mold and core after closing, as I told you, first box and periodically. Normally we do it for the first box, but it is important to have such inspection periodically to see that whatever molding we are doing is giving us a right quality or not, or is consistent quality or not. So periodic inspection of all these things are very important. Clamping is an important thing, because clamping will help you to reduce gap between parting lines, so that your dimension accuracy will be maintained, your casting weight will be minimized, and there will not be any parting line flash on the casting, which will help you in reducing dimensional inaccuracies. So clamping is very important. It also helps you in avoiding metal spillage through parting line, or we can say box leakage. So it is important. Clamping is an important activity. In clamping, you have to verify that the same pressure will be applied from both sides, and same tightening will be done at both the sides. If one area there is a more tightening and other area there is a loose tightening, then there are chances that metal can come out from other side of the box, and there will be box leakage, which will results in a short pour casting, or it will result in a flash, which will result in the dimension inaccuracy at the end. So it is very important. Pouring time and knockout time is also very important. We have to verify what is the pouring time for the treatment, what is the pouring time for the box, the knockout time, that is time from pouring to shake out, has to be maintained. It should be minimum 45 minutes. Declamping time is also very important because after pouring, you should wait at least 30 minutes for declamping. If you do declamping early, then what will happen? There will be box lifting will be there because metal is not fully solidified, and because of that there should be some lifting of box, and it will create a metal at parting line or dimension increase across the parting line. So declamping time is also very important. Collect spillage from poured boxes is very important. Otherwise, that spillage or that metal balls will flow to the sand plant and then to the mixer, and it will damage your mixer. So it is very important to collect spillage after pouring from the box through magnet. Return sand temperature is important to understand what is return sand temperature. Based on that, you have to adjust your moisture, and you can maintain your compactability and sand properties accordingly. Sand cooler is important. Do not avoid sand cooler bypass, because if sand cooler is bypassed, then not only sand will become hot and it will take more moisture and all the issues will start arising in the casting, but it will also not suck the dust, which is important. uh, we can say function of the sand cooler. So once it is not take out the dust particles, your dead clay will increase, and again moisture will be more. It will suck more moisture, and all these again quality issues will be there. So sand cooler bypass is to be avoided. Verify and validate sand additives percentage coming out from the hopper into the mixer, because many times we have uh, some PLC reading there. We have adjusted it, say 5 kg bentonite and 1 kg coal bond, but actually 4 kg bentonite will be there, 2 kg coal bond will be putting there. So it will hamper your sound properties. So you have to validate whatever adjusted sand additives on the PLC and actual sand additives getting added in the mixer has to be validated. Sand weighing in the mixer is to be validated as well, to ensure that whatever sand additives we are adding are adequate in percentage with respect to sand weight. So it is very important. It will also ensure that whatever mixer efficiency is there, we are utilizing that efficiency to the maximum. Moisture adjustment to meet desired compactability. So moisture has to be adjusted with respect to your return sand temperature and get desired compactability based on the atmospheric temperature and the return sand moisture. Mixing time has to be verified. It is normally uh, set once and it has been followed continuously, but you have to verify whether the mixing time which has been adjusted is being followed or not. Then fresh sand addition needs to be done on the boxes or separate through separate hopper in the mixer as per your regular practice. And then most important thing is you have to verify your casting peel off, because casting peel off will give you idea how much sand is going out from your system. And if more sand is going out from your system, you have trouble of having less sand volume in the system. So you have to verify that lesser sand will go outside your casting. So casting peel off is important. Casting peel off is important with respect to short casting time, your surface finish, your casting surface finish is also depending on casting peel off. So it is very important parameter of your process control. Now we go to some of the best molding practices through pictures. This picture is basically for during the change in pattern, you have to verify that hopper should be empty. As I told you earlier, it should be empty. If there is some sand inside the hopper, uh, time taken for change in the pattern and start of new pattern will be a little high, and then during that time that sand will get dry, and once that molding has started, the moisture will be less and your casting will be rough, mold breakage will be there, and you'll not get enough good quality of casting. So you have to ensure that while changing the pattern, hopper should be always empty. Do not use diesel on the pattern. It will give you sand fusion or rough casting. So also do not use graphite in more quantity or more graphite powder. Because of that, you will get casting surface finish bad. And one more thing to avoid bad surface finish is do not keep mold holding for more time. आप जितना टाइम मोल्ड को होल्ड करेंगे उतना ही आपका कास्टिंग रफ आने के चांसेस ज्यादा है. सो ट्राई टू पोर इट एज फास्टर एज पॉसिबल. Sand compactability, it should be 39 to 44 I have mentioned here, but it should be it may be 37 as well, because it depends on your atmospheric temperature or actual temperature at the moment, with respect to your seasons, or winter, or it may be summer, or it may be rainy. Depending on that, it will depend. It will also depend on your casting criticality and casting weight as well. So you have to maintain sand compactability as per your control plan, you can say. Do not keep moisture more. It is very important. High moisture will give you sand fusion and casting roughness. You can see at the bottom I have shown you return sand temperature from sand cooler. In this picture you can see almost 50-degree sand temperature is dropped from inlet to outlet. So you have to verify what is your range in the sand cooler, how much is the maximum sand temperature at inlet area, and what should be the maximum temperature at outlet area. That you have to verify at your end. This will show your efficiency of sand cooler. It should be very efficient, so that maximum temperature will get dropped during the journey through this sand cooler, and you will get sand with lower temperature or cool sand that will help you in getting better quality of casting. You have to adjust jolting time and squeezing time accordingly. This is very important. Supervisor need to focus on this area. That what is the jolting time and squeezing time given in the control plan or quality plan or work instruction. He has to maintain it so that you will get enough mold hardness. As I told you earlier, also sand additives and sand weight has to be monitored and ensured. You can see here in the PLC it is showing 2.5, 1.1 and 550 kg. Here I have shown you one example of how to validate. You can see here 3.5 kg bentonite and 1.8 kg is the coal compound. The sum is 5.3. So you can see the actual weighment. You can see 5.364. So it is matching. So you have to verify like this your sand additives additions, actual discharge versus PLC adjustment. So you have to verify that and validate it. Air pressure, it is very important. It should be always more than 6 to 6.5 bar. You have to verify it. Recently we have made one PLC adjustment where we have put a switch on our molding machine where it can off machine whenever the air pressure drop below 6 bar. It will automatically close down the molding machine. The molding machine will not run afterwards when your pressure drop below 6. So you can do Fokayoke like that, or you can make this kind of arrangement to ensure that air pressure at low air pressure molding will not run. These pictures will show you maintain distance between box and squeeze plate. That has to be maintained. Take enough sand above box so that your squeezing will be better, your mold hardness will be good, and most importantly that squeezing plate will not damage your pattern and will not rely on your box and will not damage your pattern. So you have to take enough sand above box to get good mold hardness and to avoid damages of the pattern. Check mold hardness vertically and horizontally. Horizontally, it is very important to maintain that mold hardness. This is a work instruction for chill management. Chill management is a very important factor, I thought, and many times it has been not followed properly. So this is how the chill management needs to be done. There are a few important tips for that. First is use always short blasted chills. Do not use wet or oily chills. Use fresh short blasted chills only. Apply chill coat. Chill coat needs to be added with thinner in 1:1 ratio. Do not use water to dilute chill coat. It is very important to add only thinner, and the ratio should be 1:1. Heat painted chills to bring it to room temperature, and use chills at room temperature only. Do not put hot chills in the mold. This is very important. So what not to do is, number one, do not use unshot blasted chills, do not use wet or oily chills, do not use water in chill coat, do not use rusty chills. So these are the some important points regarding chill management. Use 100% proper shot blasted chills. Do not use similar work instruction is also it's here. If chills are not used with respect to chill coat and fresh shot blasting and all these things, then there are chances that you should get blowholes like this. So you have to ensure that chills are used in a shot blasted condition and after chill coating. One more thing, do not use worn out chill. You have to ensure the life of your chills. So for that, you can put some number or some month code on the chill to ensure to understand or to get the traceability of your chills, when the chills are produced and how many days I am using it. And after certain time, say 3 months, 6 months, or 1 month, depending on the number of times the chill is going to use, you can destroy this chill and introduce new chills. So it is very important to avoid use of worn out chills. As I shown you in the below picture, worn out chills will give you blowholes, give you shrinkage tendency, increase your shrinkage tendency. So replace chills as and when required. For that, you have to maintain some kind of traceability. So work on that. In chill management is also important that after putting a chill in the mold, you have to clean area around the chill, because there will be some loose sand around chill. So you have to clean that area, and you have to blow some air to get that loose sand from that chill area. So it is very important that around chill area has to be cleaned properly before you close the mold. This is another picture showing that sometime we are using some densener or chaplets. The location has to be properly maintained. It has to be properly actually put on the there should be something on the pattern itself, so that people will not get confused about the location. Some you can put some letter or something like that where they can put that chaplet or chaplet or densener, so that there should not be any confusion. I've shown here one example how it can be misplaced, and it will not give you desired result. It will give erratic results, and the purpose of using those chaplets or densener will not be served. Use pneumatic rhymer for proper rhyming where required is very important. Do not close broken molds. It will be it is like a, you can say, crime to close the mold with broken cavities. So do not do that. Ensure when you are closing the mold, first with inspection, ensure that all the area of the mold is properly covered and it touches each other. If it is not touching each other at that particular area, there will be some gap. There will be a metal or a flash will become, and it will give you dimensional inaccuracy, and it will hamper the dimensional accuracy. It will also hamper the weight, and it will give you swelling, and during machining will face some issues. So it is very important to see that molds touches each other. There should not be any flash or swelling across the parting line. Next one is mold closing. So you have to ensure that mold closing is parallel, both ends. It should be go say, parallelly down. There should not be one end and another end, because if the it is not parallel, then there are chances that mold will get crushed and there will be a sand and extra metal as well. तो जब भी बोल्ट क्लोजिंग करेंगे दोनों तरफ से एक जैसा पेटी नीचे जाना चाहिए. इट इज नॉट गोइंग लाइक दैट, इसमें एक चांसेस है कि कोई मोल्ड घिसने का या टूटने का चांस है, एक्स्ट्रा मेटल आ सकता है या फिर सैंड गिर सकता है. सो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू हैव proper skills and proper coordination between two molders who are closing the mold. One more thing is important here is the pin should go across full way down in the drag box also, so that it will be having proper closing. अगर पिन छोटा इस्तेमाल करेंगे और वो पूरी तरह नीचे के बॉटम बॉक्स के नीचे बॉटम बॉक्स में पूरी तरह नहीं जाएंगी, तो देर आर चांसेस ऑफ शिफ्टिंग एज वेल. सो mold closing should be done properly with proper skills. Like I told you in the initial points, that while clamping you have to ensure that clamping tightness should be equally from both sides. If it is not equal from both sides, there are chances that mold leakage may be there, or dimensional accuracy will be less because of casting swelling. So ensure that both end clamping should be tight equally. Uh, all parts having core, you need to have a proper gassing. That is, venting is always there, but you have to ignite the gas as well. You have to ignite gas, because if it doesn't ignite the gas, there are chances that gas will remain inside the mold cavity, and there may be a chances of blowhole. So try to put proper ignition of the gas as well. Non-removal of filters will give you insufficient feeding, because that filter will block the feeding efficiency of the sleeve. So it is very important to take out the filters immediately after pouring, so the full efficiency of sleeve can be achieved. After pouring around 30 minutes, clamp has to be removed or declamped. It is very important. If it has been taken early, then there are chances that casting swelling will be there, and there will be more height of the casting or dimensional inaccuracy across the parting line. Spillage collection on the boxes need to be monitored, and it has to be done so that those clashes or the balls of metal will not flow along with the sand into the mixer or into the bucket elevator, which will damage your entire system. So it is very important to collect those spillage. Put fresh sand on the poured boxes. Put knockout boards as well to ensure knockout time is monitored and maintained. Fresh sand will help you in reducing your dead clay, and also help you in maintaining your sand distribution as well. It will also help you in reducing your sand temperature. So it is very important. It has been said that if fresh sand is not added on the box, you can give instruction to your shakeout operator to stop the shakeout, so that the boxes will not go without fresh sand to the ahead. So the control will be there, or some you can say some pressure will be put on the operators to put fresh sand. Also, and after putting a fresh sand only, you can remove that break, and again knockout can be started. Similarly, it is very important to follow all the instructions given, the process parameter, work instruction, or quality plan or control plan are to be maintained. Process control parameters are very important, and those will help you in reducing your rejection and give consistent quality as well. So do not take any shortcuts in the process control. It's important that pin has to be removed before boxes come for checkout. If pin is not removed and box come at shakeout, there are chances that box will get stuck into the shakeout and it will hamper your production. It will make a breakdown. So it is very important to stop the shakeout. If pin is not removed, ask them to remove the pin and then take that box for the shakeout. So it's very important that shakeout person should be aware of uh, importance of removing the pin as well as putting up a press SAM. So these two things he has to understand, and if both things are not done, he should go for the stopping of shakeout by putting a brake, and once it is implemented, then only he can allow those boxes to go for shakeout. Then you have to verify your casting peel-offs, sand peel-off you can say, on the casting, and verify that it is within your limit or it is tolerance, and it is good as well, because your if your peel-off of the sand or casting is not good, then there are chances that rough surface finish will be there, more short blasting will require, more finishing work at fettling shop, and definitely it means your sand properties are not as required, because if peel off is there, then there should be something wrong with your LOIVM. So you have to work on the sand properties as well. So this will help you in improving your sand properties. While doing shakeout, check that all the sand inside the casting cavity is totally removed. There are chances that many times the sand from inner cavity or deep drawn cavities are not removed, and because of that your hopper level get down and down, and you are facing the low volume sand issues in the system, and which will hamper your sand quality, sand properties, and casting quality at the end. So it is very, very important that ensure that the sand is removed from the deep down cavities at shakeout. So check sand sticking, as I told you earlier also. Sieve storage is very important. While uh, if you take some sleeves for your production, ensure that all the sleeves are finished. If some sleeves are remain balanced, you have to ensure that it is kept properly with proper wrapping of plastic paper or bubble paper like that. Do not keep sleeves in the open air. Uh, it will get inefficient in feeding. It is just like biscuits. If we open the packet of biscuit and keep it in the open air for some time, you will find that it will become soft. It will not remain hard as well. So similarly, your sleeve efficiency will go down if you keep those sleeves in open air. So try to keep sleeves in proper packing. This is another example where you can make many people are making mistake. They are forget to put filter inside. So sleeve is there, but filter is not put. So it will not do the filtration job. All the metal will go inside the mold without filtration, and slag defect will be there, or inclusion we can find after the machining. Similarly, filter is put, but it is vertical, it is not horizontal. So from the both side of the filters, metal will go down into the mold, and without proper filtration, the metal will go, and again you will find lot of inclusions after the machining. The correct way is to put filter properly uh, in a horizontal way, so that all the metals will go through the filter, and proper filtration will be there, and you will not find any inclusion or any impurities after the machining. Remove sleeves from broken mold is very important. That sleeve is having a huge cost, and if you uh, broke say 5 bolts, so 5 sleeves will wasted if you are not taken it out at right time. So it is very important after the mold breakage, you have to ensure that all the sleeves have been taken out from the mold, and reuse those sleeves for next box, so that the wastage and damage will be avoided. So this kind of scenario has to be avoided. A lot of sleeves are wasted here, a lot of sleeves are been broken here. It's a total loss to the company and to the organization. So try to avoid these kind of things. Thank you very much for patient hearing. and hope you have learned a lot through this presentation. And thank you very much.